neighborhood. The sun is shining, flowers are blossoming, snotty little kids waking up their parents. It's such a beautiful day. It's such a beautiful day. It's such a beautiful day in the neighborhood. The birds are chirping, lawnmowers cutting, barbecue burning, dead animals. It's such a beautiful day. It's such a beautiful day. It's such a fitting day. It's such a wonderful day. It's such a beautiful day. It's such a gorgeous day. It's such a happy day. It's such a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
Beautiful.
It's a beautiful day, more beautiful than yesterday. Well, yesterday had its own level of beauty, but yesterday was a little more cold, and we had to have, you had a jacket on, and I had a hoodie on, and today I'm in my uniform of a tank top.
PJs.
No underwear.
Yeah.
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 No, I'm just kidding. Sorry,
Dear.
this is the serious show.
Oh, yes. Very serious. Very
Versions on the brain from last night.
We'll be once we know who's in the chat room, we will be playing our new theme song for our other show, Widdershins, because some people missed it.
Even though we played it 3 times, not 1, not 2, 3 times, but some people still missed it, so we're gonna play it again at some point.
A memorable little tune. We've been singing it since then. It's stuck in my head. Yeah.
The group smells funny.
When something about your money. Widdershins. Widdershins. See? We're rocking that shit.
It's really catchy.
Fucking tune, man. One of my students wrote us a song.
Yeah. So you woke us up this morning to say the stuff about Barr, and that Trump asked Barr to hold a press conference shortly after the call, or no, shortly after. What was the timeline?
After the memo.
After we knew about it?
Yeah, once the memo came out, Barr was supposed to have a press conference saying that Trump did nothing wrong.
Yeah, and Trump denies ever asked, because Barr obviously didn't do that, and Trump denies ever asking him to do that. You would think there would be some kind of record.
I'm sure there's some kind. Well, the thing is that the press, I've read it on 3 different outlets, and there's no word reportedly, allegedly, supposedly, any of that. They say Trump asked Barr this. Trump said this to Barr. Barr refused. Period. None of this speculative shit.
Well, okay, so Trump's denying it. What's Barr saying? Has anybody asked Barr if?
I don't think it. Barr doesn't say it. Barr wears a MAGA ball gag. He's Trump's bitch.
Yeah. And I think
But he refused.
He refused. He reserved Trump. I don't know, like one of his resorts. I don't even know which one, but he already reserved it for a holiday party and spent Did you hear about that? It was a while ago. He spent thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars at a Trump place for a holiday party, and he said the same thing that they all say. He's like, well, I looked around at other venues and this was like the best one, blah blah blah. But yeah, that happened a few months ago. Like, that happened actually shortly after he became Attorney General. So I wonder, was that a quid pro quo?
Whatever happened to conflict of interest? I mean, this is a guy that said he wouldn't recuse himself.
Well, they accuse us of having conflicts of interest, so they know what it is.
Yeah.
Like how Rand Paul said that the whistleblower had conflicts of interest because he used to work for Biden. Yeah. So they can recognize, or think they recognize it. But what I want to know, and what I was asking you, If it's so horrible that Joe Biden's son was like on the board of some Ukrainian gas company or whatever while he was president, I'm sorry. Our Congress was Republican back then. Even though Obama was the president, we had a Republican House, Republican Senate. Why didn't anybody bring it up back then? Like, I don't think it was some sort of secret that he was on the board of this company. I think they all knew about it. You know,
They tried to do
they act like it's a huge problem now, and they want Hunter Biden to testify and explain his time at the thing. And, like, why did they not have a problem with it at the time? They all knew what he did. They all knew how much money he made. We were ruled by a Republican mob in both houses of Congress. Why did they not say anything?
All they did was try and get something on Obama or anybody connected to him. Now, the whole thing with Hillary's emails, because she was working for Obama.
Yeah, but they never went after Biden.
I know. That's what I'm saying. If they had anything, they would have.
Yeah.
If there was even suspicion, they would have.
I know. And then when he, now they're saying, there was quid pro quo and Biden, didn't give him money when it's. So why didn't you say anything? And that wasn't a quid pro quo. I've explained a million times. It was like a year later after the Ukrainian, I don't know if they have a parliament, but they voted to oust this prosecutor. A year later, they hadn't done it. And so that's when Biden was like, come on, you guys, you got to do this. And he was really open about it. Why didn't they say anything then? If they were really convinced that it was a quid pro quo.
So they keep talking about wanting to get Hunter Biden to testify.
Oh.
And he should just say no. Refuse the fucking subpoena.
They say no.
Or say I'll testify when Trump's children testify.
Yeah.
Get them up there. Let's talk. They want to talk to Hunter Biden about his business dealings. That's cool. He should just say, okay, just get the Trump kids up here. Let's have them testify about their business dealings, because that would probably be, thrown into the impeachment pile.
Ivanka just got a bunch of patents from China, I think. Like
30,
that wouldn't have happened.
40 of them.
What, there was like one weird one that we knew about. I forgot. What was it?
Oh, it was for a fucking voting machine.
Oh, right.
Oddly enough.
Right.
And if you missed that, we reported it. Trump's daughter got granted, I think, like 40 some odd patents in China, and one of those patents was for a voting machine, a Trump voting machine. Just let that hang in the air for a minute, like a old fart.
That's kind of like a joke.
Yeah,
The Trump voting machine. They should show a Trump voting machine and have a picture of Putin.
I could say maggot voting machine. I believe you had a story you wanted to read that was pretty humorous.
I was just going through the CNN site. I actually found something interesting from Monday, so it's not current, but it just breaks down all of his arguments and how he contradicts himself. And I was saying that about Breitbart yesterday. I was reading some story how they were talking about how there was no quid pro quo, and then the second half of the story was like, well, even if there was it's okay. So they're totally contradicting themselves. Just kind of about that, but not that incident, because it was older than that. But I'll read it. President Donald Trump's defense of his actions often change over time. They rarely change quite as head-spinningly fast as they did on Sunday. Speaking to reporters on the South Lawn of the White House, Trump continued to argue that his July phone call with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky was perfect. He claimed that the many people who listened to the call did not have a problem with it. Then he made a flurry of very different arguments over the course of 74 total words. His claims in the second half of the paragraph contradict his claims in the first. So let's break it down.
Break it down.
Oh, no, first I'm going to say the whole paragraph. Okay, here's the paragraph as it appears in the official White House transcript. Quote, and all of those many people that listened to the phone call, why didn't they have a problem with it? It sounds like me. Because they didn't have. Many people listen. Stop moving the mic, please. Many people listen to calls between. I know that. For instance, the Secretary of State, Pompeo, was on the call. Nobody had, with all the, I'm reading it how he says it. Nobody had, with all these people, very few people that I know came forward. And they only came forward when you asked. And some of them are never Trumpers. Got that? Okay, so let's break it down claim by claim. Number one, The many people who listened to the call didn't have a problem with it. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo didn't have a problem. Nobody. Number 2. Very few people Trump knows came forward to raise concerns about the call. Number 3. The people who raised concerns about the call only did so after they were asked. Number 4. Some of the people who raised concerns about the call are never Trumpers. In summary, Trump went from A, claiming universal support for his actions from those who were in on the call, to B, acknowledging people complained about his actions, to C, suggesting these people were prodded into complaining, to D, alleging that these people harbor animosity toward him. He can be a challenge to paraphrase, so let's dig in. Fact check. As Trump had implicitly conceded by the end of the paragraph, there's no basis for his claim that nobody who listened to the call had a problem with it. Lieutenant Colonel Alexander Vindman, an active-duty Army officer and top Ukraine expert at the White House's National Security Council, testified to Congress, quote, "I was concerned by the call. I did not think it was proper to demand that a foreign government investigate a U.S. citizen, and I was worried about the implications for the U.S. government's support of Ukraine." End quote. The Washington Post reported that at least 4 national security officials were so alarmed by the Trump administration's attempt to pressure Ukraine for political purposes that they raised concerns with a White House lawyer both before and immediately after the call. Concerns soared in the call's aftermath, the Post reported officials said, and within minutes, senior officials, including National Security Advisor John Bolton, were being pinned by subordinates about problems with what the president had said to his Ukrainian counterpart. The whistleblower who filed a formal complaint about the call said that the White House officials who gave him highly accurate information were deeply disturbed by what had transpired in the call. The White House has acknowledged that it restored a transcript of the call in a highly classified system. A senior official said in a September statement to CNN that this decision came at the direction of the National Security Council attorneys. Trump has not elaborated on his claim that Vindman is a never-Trumper, a term that has generally been used to describe longtime Republicans who steadfastly refuse to support Trump, but that Trump himself appears to be deploying as a broader label for anyone who criticizes him. Asked what evidence he has to call Vindman a never-Trumper, Trump said Sunday, We'll be showing that to you real soon, okay?"
Yeah, I remember that.
It was not clear who Trump was calling you when he told reporters that people who criticized the call only came forward when you asked. Vindman said he was testifying voluntarily after receiving a subpoena from the House Intelligence Committee. The media did not appear to have anything to do with it. So that's that one.
And I recall Vindman did voice everybody voiced their concerns to the State Department, who sat on it, all of it.
Yep.
They voiced it.
First he said nobody had a problem with it, and then he said some people had a problem with it, and that they only came forward after asked, and that they were never Trumpers. So, yeah, he doesn't really know how to explain himself.
Well, and back to the Barr thing for just a second. One thing I was going to say about that is, like, he really believes that Barr is credible anymore? Like, if Barr came out and defended him, Barr's his bitch.
If Barr came out and held a news conference to tell everybody that Michael Trump did nothing wrong.
Michael Trump?
That Donald Trump did nothing wrong, that wouldn't change anything. The people who already believe he did nothing wrong would believe what he said. The people who think he did do something wrong would laugh at him. There's no purpose to it at all.
Yeah, anytime Barr says anything anymore, I mean, that's what I think, and that's what he's proven, and that's what, when they tried to keep him from getting the job in the first place, everybody knew that. He right away said he wouldn't recuse himself, even though he's all these connections to Trump. And then he gave us the extremely redacted fucking FBI report, which wasn't accurate.
It was the original report, I think, was like 500 pages, and he gave them a 4-page summary, and half of it was crossed out.
And Mueller, as I recall, had some problems with the summary. Didn't say that accurately portrayed it at all when Mueller testified.
Yep. Yeah, so once again, I'll say what I say every day. Like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, this place is a circus now. I don't understand. Like, since when do you get to not honor a subpoena and just decide and walk away and flatly say you're not going to do it, and then it's business as usual? Like, since when? Like, do we get to say that?
And I saw one of Trump's fucking rallies that he loves to have. He was, half jokingly talking about holding the office for 20 years. Yeah. The look on her face, if you could just see it, but it's radio.
I don't know if he's saying that anymore. He used to say that all the time, that he wants to be president for life, and a bunch of people agree with him, and now he's not saying that anymore. I mean,
pretty recent. He did say that, the clip that I was watching, and he was kind of joking.
You were watching an old clip because he said that a while ago, but I think he's not saying that anymore because, I don't know, maybe he knows something bad's going to happen. I think his presidency is going to end badly. He's already changed his residency to Florida, so he has no intention of going back to New York, but I guess he's going to go back to Florida. I think Florida has really lax tax laws, too, which, it's obviously going to be appealing to somebody like Trump. But what else do we see? Or hear?
Bunch of crap.
Yeah. This is really hard to read in the morning sometimes. So anyway, they did subpoena John Bolton. I'm sorry. They did not subpoena, what I was going to say is John Bolton did not show up for his request to appear and testify, and he already said he wasn't going to show up without a subpoena, so I was wondering, okay, so why didn't they subpoena him? His lawyer already said that he's going to fight a subpoena in court, and apparently, there's some deadline. I don't know, it might be a self-imposed deadline, but basically the story was saying that if his lawyer does take it to court, that it's going to drag it out for a long time, and the inquiry will be over by then. So understand why can't they be like, all right, well, let's go to court?
Yeah. Well, I know they want to impeach him by Christmas.
Yeah, but why?
I don't know.
I mean, I
don't know what this. Keep hearing about this deadline, or they're going to run out the clock.
Yeah.
It's like, how do you run out what?
Yeah, it's like we don't do that in real not normal, but non-political trials. If somebody kills somebody, you're not like, all right, let's wrap this up, and if the witnesses don't want to show up, we need to wrap this up by such and such time, and let's go.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just keep going through the impeachment process all the way up to the next election. I don't think it's going to help him, especially next week. We're going to have to figure out. I think probably a lot of the shit happens before our show, so I might have to skip my morning nap.
They do a lot. What were you just saying? Sorry.
The public hearings are going to start Wednesday. And I think those happen in the morning, so I might have to skip my morning nap and watch it.
We do a lot of stuff on East Coast time, which is 3 hours ahead of us. So by the time, we start our day, like, they're already doing stuff.
We're going to have to, get up in the morning and fucking watch this shit show, so we'll be ready to talk about it at 11. But then some of it will still be going on, so I don't know. We might have to... Might have to set up CNN up here, have it in the background.
Stuff happens after our show. Yeah, you put it on the background and just put it on mute if you can, and then just watch what it says on the screen.
Yeah. Well, I have to I can put it on a little tablet, bring a tablet up because we're using the laptop here. But yeah, it's gonna be quite a shit show next week, and it's what they asked for. But now that I think I don't know if they're all going to try and do like Lindsey Graham and just, pretend it isn't happening now, because the Democrats are doing everything that Lindsey Graham was bitching about and demanding that they do, a week ago.
Demanding that they turn over the transcripts, and now that they turned over the transcripts, he's like, I have no intention of reading anything.
All BS. Yeah. All right. Let's, while Jamie's here, let's make sure that she got to hear the Widdershins theme song, because she somehow she lagged in her stalking last night. I thought she was around in the show. I thought I saw her in the chat room last night. Somehow she missed it. I think she did tune into the show, but we played our new theme song. So we got a theme song for this show, and then we were talking about we needed to get a theme song for the other show, and our fans are paying attention. And one of my students went and whipped up this little song for Widdershins for our theme song, and
Jamie, this is for you.
it's for you. It's going out to Jamie.
Widdershins, 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 Widdershins. When the crowd gets fussy, when the floor gets dusty, when your blade gets rusty, Widdershins, Widdershins. When your broom smells funny, when a hex takes your money, what's gonna save you, honey? Just Widdershins, Widdershins. All you witches and all your old magicians, it's time to start listening to Widdershins, Widdershins. Widdershins, 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 Widdershins.
The Widdershins theme song by Derek Hallamore, performed and written and produced by.
Did he do all the instruments too?
I think he did. Maybe did it on a computer.
You know, I mean, I hear drums and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you could probably do that on the GarageBand app nowadays. But I don't know. Maybe it sounds like a real guitar and stuff. God, the technology they have. Yeah, I was just reading this fucking thing. You know, there's some movie coming out, and by use of CGI, James Dean is going to be in a fucking movie.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's weird. I mean, we got. I haven't really seen any clips from him, but we got like dead rock stars performing as holograms. It was like Futurama shit. Remember that they had that in Futurama.
Did they?
Yeah, I forget what star it was, but I think, God, was it Elvis? I don't know, but hologram
Takes fake news to a whole nother level.
Yeah, I forget. I think Michael Jackson's a fucking hologram.
Gonna be people on recorded on camera, and Trump will be right. Don't believe what you see with your eyes.
Well, and
that's really disturbing.
There's God, I don't have this story, but I heard it yesterday. There's some company that has come up with software to uncover deep fake videos, which is a new thing that we have to worry about. They've come up with the ability to make fake videos. It looks like a guy sitting right in front of you. The first one was Obama, but they used Jordan Peele's voice. You know, he used to do an Obama impression. They used his voice for the thing, so I could tell it wasn't Obama. He does a good Obama, but it wasn't. But they had the ability to have somebody appear to be sitting right in front of us saying something, and it's very realistic. But so now companies come up with software to detect that, and they I think they claim like 95% success rate for that.
Ugh. I'm disturbed.
Yeah, you usually are.
Yeah, okay, so let's see, what else do we got?
Well, so remember Vindman, Colonel Vindman?
I remember Vindman.
Well, he's a ballsy guy, I gotta say. He's still working in the White House, and he has no intention of leaving his job. And that's got to be so tense.
I've read that he was appointed by Trump.
Yeah.
So can Trump just, disappoint him?
He can, and that's...
disappoint him. Okay.
I believe he can, and I'm surprised that he hasn't. Maybe he's just too busy right now, caught up with things, but that's usually what he does. Yeah. But there was this story I was reading in Huffington Post. You got that book coming out by Anonymous, somebody that's actually working in the Trump administration to this day. Fucking tell all... God, it wasn't fear.
No, I have
Or something like that. Be afraid, or it was something similar to the fear. Yeah. But he says in his book that back when Trump fired the first FBI guy to try and nullify the investigation into Russian interference, Pence was supporting the invoking of the 25th Amendment, which is the amendment to remove a president from office without impeachment.
called a warning.
A warning. There we go.
Yep.
So apparently, in that book, he says that Pence approved of invoking the 25th Amendment to remove a president from office. They're really pissed off about the book, trying to find it. Kind of like the whistleblower. They're all about trying to find out who it is. But I love the fact that
they're demanding that the whistleblower testify. These same people are on camera from years ago saying that it's very, very important to protect a whistleblower's identity. But now they're screaming, make him testify.
Well, I think sometimes in terms of, as above, so below. And I can recall some abusive treatment that I was receiving on some secret page on Facebook, where they called me a predator and stuff. Remember that one? And
infiltrated their support group.
Yeah, and so somebody gave them the impression somehow that there were many infiltrators delivering me information, and I was posting screenshots all the time, and I made sure to make those screenshots public so that the people on that page would see that I had the information to make them paranoid about the people in their group. And it was like the week of the long knives. They were just kicking people off the page, tearing each other apart, tore the whole page apart. Now this guy, or girl, whoever that wrote the book, is a high-level Trump administration staff member to this day. And I love the amount of paranoia that must be going on. That's why he hasn't gotten around to Vindman.
Yeah, and then there is somebody anonymously wrote something in the New York Times, I think, about the climate in the White House and how a lot of people are, whispering about, how much Trump sucks.
Yeah. A lot of muttering. Well, I remember a while back there was somebody that said that they just wouldn't file papers that Trump told them to file. They just wouldn't do stuff that he told them to do, and just, he'd forget about it, and just like the staff members not cooperate.
There was something that was on his desk that he was supposed to sign, and one of them just took it off the desk, and he forgot that it was even there and didn't sign it.
And it was something really bad. I don't remember what it was, but it was bad.
But yeah, and it's like, I'm not going to get too personal. This behavior is very familiar to me.
Yes. Well, I always remember, back in the day, another as above, so below moment, I guess. We had this competitor in Santa Cruz who was a dirty competitor, played dirty tricks, had people, had friends write fake reviews about our shop and this kind of thing. Was always talking peace to my face. And talking about how we needed to stick together, us witches.
Remember, she tried to discredit me by getting somebody to write that I need medication?
Yes, in one of the fake reviews. And so she was always, to my face, talking all this peace, and then behind my back, doing all these shady things that I always knew about. And after a while, you realize that somebody's a pathological liar. And I think the moment that it really clicked for me was when Marta was at the bar at Hula's, this little Hawaiian place that she liked to do her homework at back when she was
studying for a final.
She studied for her finals with a cocktail and did very well.
I did really well in anything that I studied or any homework that I did at that bar.
When Susan Diamond walked in, who you had seen there many a time in the restaurant, ended up accidentally sitting down at the bar next to Marta. And when she finally
She was a couple seats down, a couple bar stools down, but the bar was empty. It was during the day, so it was like we were the only two people sitting there. And, you know, she pretended not to see me. I pretended not to see her, or whatever. But then a bunch of my friends showed up and sat next to me and were like, "Hi, Marta," you know, and so she couldn't ignore me now. So then she turned around and she was like, "Oh, I've never been. Well, hi, I've never been in here before," and blah blah blah. I'm like,
That's the sign. When a person lies about something that doesn't matter for no reason.
I don't give a flying fuck how many times she's been there.
Yeah. When they lie about something that's just pointless, it has no bearing on anything. That's pathological liar. And once you come across a pathological liar, you've got to just do this one thing. Every time they open their mouth, it's a lie, and it's going to be, and it was with them. And that's we got. You know, Trump. We got a pathological liar and a narcissist. And really, the only way to deal with a narcissist is no contact.
Yep.
I don't know how we're going to pull that off. We ignore him.
We have to impeach him, and then he'll just like
He'll go away.
sit in his closet in the fetal position for the rest of his life.
Well, I fully just... I'm shocked that he hasn't resigned yet. His ego is just too attached to this thing. But he came into this job expecting to be the king. And he just tell people what to do, and they'll just do it. And he's the ultimate decider of all things. Like, you know what? You can go back to that life. You had that life. You know, you can go back and be, you know, king of fucking Trump Tower, at least until we prosecute you.
The thing is, he can't even go back to his hometown because everybody hates him. I don't think... I mean, yeah, he'll still be the boss or whatever if he goes back to that life, but I think his life has been, like, seriously tarnished. Like, he's not going to get invited to, like, all the cool parties anymore or anything like he used to.
Yeah. He'll be hanging out with the Saudis and
He could
Putin.
just be, you know, the rich guy in New York who had a show and made a cameo appearance on Home Alone, and, you know, I mean, I'm sure there are plenty of people who hated him, and I know he was a piece of crap.
He wrestled Vince McMahon once.
But he was, you know, just, like, more or less harmless. He was just like the rich asshole who just did his own thing, and everybody knew what he was about, and that was that.
Well, see, and that's the thing. Is he absolutely wasn't harmless, but it didn't affect us, so we didn't know about it.
I'm saying it affected who it affected, but it didn't affect, like, the general population the way it does now. And that life is over. I don't think you know. It's like he invited the Clintons to his wedding. Yeah. And you know, just lots of parties with artists and models and whatever. And I heard that you know, Melania, everybody who was friends with Melania in the modeling world has also been blackballed for their association with her. So their lives as they know it are over. It's not going to go back to the fun that they had before the presidency. I mean, they're not going to live in Trump Tower anymore.
It'd be nice if, you know, somebody could uncover that, you know, they didn't pay their property taxes and, you know, put a lien on Trump Tower.
And then we can auction it off for $1.
Oh, that'd be great.
Would that be funny?
Yeah.
And then especially if, like, Shifty Schiff bought it or something.
Oh, look at this one.
What?
We were talking about it earlier. The GOP lawmakers want to name Route 66 Trump Highway, and people are outraged. Now, I don't really know what power they have to think they're going to do this. I mean, this is the party that bitches about states' rights, and they always have. And the states' rights, you know, should supersede the federals, you know, reach, and blah, 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 blah. You know what? It goes from Chicago to L.A. That's the song, right? It's fucking Santa Monica Boulevard. It's fucking Route 66 through here. You think California is going to let you do that? No. We would it'll still be historic Route 66.
We're gonna cross out Trump Highway with a Sharpie and write Route 66 underneath it.
We'll just, you know, go down the street and just every street sign, man, just cross it out with a Sharpie. Yeah, I can't believe the insanity of that. And then, oh God, where was it? I was reading about in some fucking state they want to take MLK Street down.
Oh yeah, what? That was in Kansas. Kansas.
I think it was Kansas.
Surprised that they had an MLK Street.
Ah, you know what I was gonna say.
Yeah, but yeah, pretty sure it was Kansas.
Oh my goodness. Let's see. So now I'm jumping through different sources to see what we have. They're saying in Kentucky, yeah, here you go. How a gang of angry teachers beat Kentucky's Donald Trump.
Yeah, because that governor that lost, there was something between him and teachers where, I mean, I heard that most people didn't like him, and even Trump said he was a pain in the butt during his rally. Yeah. But something happened with him and teachers specifically that turned all the teachers against him. I'm not sure what it was, though, but I do know that he's no friend to education.
Yeah, well, he's Trump, and puts in Bevos in charge of education, and then who's the dumbest brain surgeon in the world that's in charge of housing?
Ben Carson.
Yeah, fucking just dumber than fucking dirt. I can't believe he ever was allowed to operate on somebody's brain, but apparently the teachers in Kentucky.
Maybe he's a one-trick pony and he's good at that one thing, but you need to not let him do anything else. Some people are really good at one thing, and you don't let them do anything else. Like a lot of people, I always read about that. I'm fascinated by psychology a lot of the time, and it was a lot of people who are good at what they do as subordinates. They'll get promoted because they're good at that job, but then they're shitty managers, and they don't do a good job as managers. It's like you want to reward them with a job well done by promoting them, but they can't be managers. They need to stay at that one task that they're good at, and that's how I feel about Ben Carson. Like, let him operate. I think I don't know anything about his operative skills, but I hear they're pretty good, and just let him do that. I mean, he doesn't have to be a HUD guy.
Somebody in the chat room saying, Bree said that teachers striking caused children to be in danger of molestation. Now, I may understand what you're talking about, because we had...
because teachers were striking, so he blamed them for striking because the kids are not going to be safe?
I think so. And we had a teacher strike here in the Los Angeles Unified School District last year, and I got a great picture of my kids standing on the strike line carrying a fucking picket sign. You take some fucking days off or figure out, some childcare or something like that, but Corral ain't going to be a scab. We don't cross picket lines.
And then they kind of had these veiled threats about how, if the child doesn't go to school, they'll be marked as absent, and there can only be so many absences, until they have to repeat a grade and stuff. But I talked to a friend of mine who's an administrator at LAUSD, and she said all they're going to do is sit in the auditorium and watch movies all day. And I was like, you know what? He'll have a much better time sitting at home, and we can actually do some stuff for school. Like, it'll be actually better for him than if he goes to school during the strike. So but I was worried that he was going to have to repeat a grade or something, depending on how long this strike lasts. But then the school kind of caved, and because so many kids didn't show up, what are they going to do? So they said, that none of these absences are going to count on the child's record. But I don't know about other schools.
Well, also, one thing that was concerning, and maybe what they were talking about here, the school during the strike was staffed by volunteers that were not thoroughly vetted.
Yeah, that's the other thing. So the kids are actually in more danger than if they stayed home.
Yeah. So that's why you don't take. I mean, I understand maybe not everybody can get the day off or something, but
I understand it a lot. It's not about getting a day off. I mean, it can last for months, and we're thankfully in the position where we can keep them at home. But when I was in school, both my parents worked. I would have been screwed. I don't remember if there were any strikes when I was in the public school system, but somebody would have been screwed. I mean, my mom wasn't going to take the day off, so I don't know what would have happened. But yeah.
So all right, well that's interesting.
So, I understand why people have to send their kids.
Yeah. Let's see, Bevan. Oh, yeah. I already read that one. You got any stories over there? You're just twiddling your thumbs. We could, yeah, we're gonna play it. We're gonna play you something, or we're gonna do. Oh. Okay, we got to do this. Our favorite part. Breitbart. Those wacky folk at Breitbart. What are the Nazis talking about now?
All right, we need an applause track.
I think I actually have that.
Oh, really? Okay. Let's see. Tulsi Gabbard to Breitbart News. She's the presidential candidate. We do not have a nation if we do not have borders. Okay? So, yeah, if she's talking to Breitbart. Remember, she was the only one you didn't like when we were watching the debates? What?
I thought it looked like it was going to be laughs. But okay, so for future reference, we have that.
Okay. So, yeah, Tulsi Gabbard talks to Breitbart saying we need borders. And, this is the stupid thing. There's nobody who doesn't want borders. Okay? They keep acting like, the Democrats want open borders. I've heard that so many times. And then you listen to the Democrats and all of them are like, nobody wants open borders. Why do they just hang on to that talking point? Well, I mean, I know why they do it, because people are that stupid, but I don't want open borders. You don't want open borders. We just don't want people in cages is all.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Tulsi Gabbard, exclusive on Breitbart News Daily. So she's not going to win. And she said that Hillary Clinton and foreign policy establishment smears dissenting voices. Okay. Syria's Assad agreed to elections. Okay, Meghan McCain lectures Don Jr. on hurting people. Okay. So I'm just they misspelled update. Update has an A, people. There's an A in there somewhere. Look it up. Schiff makes up new rules for impeachment inquiry. Yeah, I'm sure that happened. Restricts Republican witness questions. Okay, wait. I remember when the Republicans signed or made these rules, and the rules were highly restrictive to the other party. The rules were set up to be highly restrictive for the Democrats, the way that the Republicans set it up. But not specifically the Democrats, but just whoever, the opposing party is. And now the opposing party happens to be Republicans. And they made it so that their questions could be restricted.
They also made
John Boehner signed into law.
They also made it so we can extort foreign powers and profit off of the office and on and on. And we don't have to follow subpoenas. So when they try and impeach the next Democrat president, nobody has to show up. Thanks, guys.
Yep. Okay, let's see. What else do we have? Hillary Clinton fires on Warren's Medicare for All. Oh, I heard some of the poor billionaires don't really support Elizabeth Warren because she wants to tax them. But it's like, okay, listen. It's a 3% tax if you make more than $50 million a year. Okay? Somebody making $50 million a year, she needs to sit the fuck down and not complain about a 3% tax. And then it adds a 1% tax on everything over $1 billion. So we're really talking about a handful of people who are going to be affected. But Bill Gates spoke out and he's like, well, when I'm okay with paying, some billion, but when you want $100 billion, it's going to leave me counting what I have left. And then he did it in a tweet. And so she responded in a tweet. She's like, I promise your share will be much, much less than $100 billion. Like, he's worth it's somewhere like $106 billion. So even if he did have to pay $100 billion, you still got $6 billion left, dude.
Well, I remember almost 30 years ago, Bill Gates saying if he saw $500 on the ground, it wouldn't be worth his time to pick it up. I mean, how much do you need to hoard How much do you need to put away? How much?
1% if it's over $1 billion. How many people here make more than $1 billion a year? How many?
So they're finally talking about taxing the rich. That means that he hasn't been taxed all this time. He's like the start of fucking computers. That's how long he's been making money without having to pay his fair share. I'm sure he's got enough to hold him over.
Well, he never said he never paid taxes. He said he's paid a lot, millions or billions. He said something about how he's paid a lot in taxes, but that this is just too much. And really, it's 1%. If it's over 1 billion, an extra 1%, and an extra 3% if it's over 50 million. Give me a fucking break. What's 3% of 50 million?
Yeah.
Don't laugh at me. You're laughing at me. Okay, so that Breitbart was boring.
Breitbart was boring. Breitbart was boring. Those wacky people at Breitbart. Breitbart, they bored us to fucking tears. Let's see. All right, scrolling through some other headlines. See, we got an aide to Mike Pence, who's concerned about the 25th call, is testifying today. So those.
She was in on the phone call,
yeah.
And this says that she was concerned by what she heard in the phone call, but it's unclear. Hopefully, it'll become clear after today. But it was unclear if she talk to anybody about her concerns. But that's another person that was concerned, which Trump says there were none. And this is Mike Pence's aide, which I don't even know, why was Mike Pence's aide even on that phone call in the first place?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
But, so they subpoenaed her. The White House attempted to direct her not to appear. Now, I think this is the thing they're doing with the Bolton thing. It's not just about, not wanting to run out the clock and that kind of thing. They're just going to add a charge of obstruction every time this happens. They'll have 50 billion charges of obstruction on fucking impeachment, which is a crime, by the way. It is a high crime and or misdemeanor. You got something?
No, but it's like, it sounds like Tulsi agreed to talk to Breitbart, and it's like every other headline is like about her. Like they think it's like this big feather in their cap or something. It's like she's not gonna win. Who cares? Anyway, in fact, she's definitely not gonna win because she went on Breitbart.
Well, let's see there. Oh, this ought to be good. The Republicans again shift their defense of Trump over impeachment inquiry barrage. Republicans are struggling to find a unified defense as they shift their changing arguments about why President Trump's actions are not impeachable amid damaging testimony from senior diplomats that Trump sought to condition U.S. military aid to Ukraine on opening investigations into his political rivals. What was once a frequently repeated mantra, there was no quid pro quo, has now morphed into a multi-pronged and sometimes disjointed defense, with Republicans each taking the job into their own hands, hoping to fight back against allegations raised daily with the release of new transcripts. Republicans across Capitol have resorted to attacking first-hand knowledge of witnesses, muddying the waters with calls to name the whistleblower, and even seeking to discredit the Trump administration's ability to be organized enough to execute a scheme to use military aid. I saw that one when Lindsey Graham was it pretty much said that they're too incompetent to have pulled off such a scheme. What I can tell you about the Trump policy towards Ukraine, it was incoherent. It depends on who you talk to. They seem to be incapable of forming a quid pro quo. So no, I find the whole process to be a sham, and I'm not going to legitimize it. Senate Judiciary Chairman Lindsey Graham, a South Carolina Republican, told reporters Wednesday.
So there are, I was just reading this morning, so once it does go to the Senate for the trial, we need 67 votes from the Senate. We need a supermajority, which is 67, and we have 47 Democrats, which means we need 20 senators on their side to come over on our side. That's the magic number, 20. And I don't know if I know Mitt Romney's on there, I'm not sure. I definitely can't think of 20, but hopefully there's going to be enough of them who come around. Although I don't think they will. But it depends on the public. If the public, more and more people are supporting impeachment, they're going to have to do it.
Yeah.
That's what Scaramucci was saying. He said that as soon as the support goes to 60%, it's over.
Yeah.
Because these motherfuckers want to get reelected. That's why they're supporting Trump in the first place, because they think he's popular among the voters. That's the only reason. If he becomes unpopular with the voters, they're not going to support him.
Well, now the House is looking into Pence's role in the Ukraine controversy. I think based on some of the testimony that came up today. Yeah. And then this one, the Giuliani factor that might condemn Trump to impeachment. I read the whole story. I'm not going to read it here because it's really fucking long. But, this whole shadow policy, foreign policy that a private citizen, the private lawyer of Donald Trump was running, it's really bad. And it's really illegal. And it's really improper. And we have, even in Trump's memo of the call, talk to Rudy, talk to Rudy, talk to Barr, talk to Rudy. We got Trump all over the place. Everybody's quoting him saying, talk to Rudy, talk to Rudy. So
even that
all
phone call that they released, he's saying talk to Rudy and Barr.
people are saying, he's probably going to distance himself from Giuliani now, but it's too late. He ordered or he authorized Rudy Giuliani to run a secret foreign policy in Ukraine and other places. Giuliani, who has some questionable business dealings in Ukraine. And maybe Biden was a competitor.
I found something breaking from NBC. Judge orders Trump to pay $2 million for misusing his foundation. The money raised was, quote, used for Mr. Trump's political campaign and disbursed by Mr. Trump's campaign staff, the judge noted. From his foundation? Wow. Okay. President Donald Trump must pay a $2 million judgment for improperly using his Trump Foundation charity to further his 2016 presidential campaign. A New York judge said Thursday. The order appears to bring to an end the New York Attorney General's lawsuit against the president and 3 of his oldest children over the now shuttered foundation, which the Attorney General said it had engaged in repeated wrongdoing. So the foundation is... Okay, that's it, because it's a breaking story. That's all there is. But so the foundation is now closed?
I guess. Okay, this is new.
Do you remember when he had that life-size oil painting that nobody wanted to buy, so he made his foundation buy it?
Yes. So in the... guess who's going to testify in the Roger Stone trial?
Paul McCartney?
Steve Bannon.
Oh, yeah, I knew that.
He's supposed to testify against Roger Stone. Well, a lot of this stuff that I was reading yesterday is all about his email to Bannon, so Bannon can't say that he didn't know. Well, hell, that's gonna be a story to follow.
Say he didn't know.
All right, we got anything else?
Nope.
All right, it's a beautiful day. We are out of here.
Have a beautiful day. See you tomorrow.
your love, I must stay away. I want you, girl, by my side. Little girl.